everyone! We go on our educational video series. In the previous video, we illustrated the general logic of a database dump. In this video, we'll show how this logic may be applied to a BimRV database. In other words, we'll show you how to dump an Autodesk Revit model. And before we start, the key prerequisites.
First, we need to download the necessary archives and activation for file. The downloaded archives should be merged, and activation info file should be placed in third-party activation folder. Next, we create a new project that will be a Visual C++ console application. We select a project folder and specify the project name.
Next, we switch to the project settings. We start with configuration, release x6804. Next, we switch to general and specify the output directory. We specify the output directory the same exe vc16 amd64dll folder with all the downloaded executables and DLL files. Next, we need to switch to C++ general additional include directories and specify a set of additional directories to be able to reference them via include directives. Additional include directories will consist of two parts. The general ones that reference some kernel folders or kernel-based folders. The path to the activation info file is also a part of the general additional include directories. And next, we need to append a group of BimRV specific directories. One of them is just include, the other relates to BimRV database, and we also have a common and X services folders being added. Next, we need to change the C++ preprocessor definitions property of the project. And next, we'll switch to the linker section. We need to append additional library directories. Those will be lib and exe folders from our merged archive. We switch to input additional dependencies. In the additional dependencies, again, we have two groups of models. First of all, we copy all the models that we mentioned before as a mandatory prerequisite for almost every task, and we append also the BimRV specific models, lib models. Additionally, we also need to change the property link advanced input library and specify delete with the name of our project. Okay, that's it about the settings. Now let's move to the code. We'll append the necessary include directories, the general and the BimRV specific ones. Next, we'll modify its Windows console application, so we'll modify it in order to accept arguments. We'll need to accept the name of the file to read. Next, we create the MyServices class inheriting from X System Services and ODX Beam Host App Services. In our previous videos, we got acquainted with the system classes hierarchy for BimRV and IFC projects. And here in our BimRV dumping example, we do everything exactly as described before. We create a MyServices class, we create an object of this class, we use it for initialization, and also please pay attention that for working with BimRV, we need to perform OD Loader Module Name class loading. For our current dumper example, we consider that all the auxiliary files are available for us. We read the file, we consider that the argument passed to our console application is the name of the Autodesk Revit file. We read it to a BM database object. Next, we use the database object to address the element table and to create the ID iterator for this table. We use the iterator to launch a loop. Now, as soon as we get the element ID, we can address the element itself. And we get the object using the ID and get the class of this object. We need the class object to get all the properties of this particular element. Having all the properties, we again create an iterator through the properties container and launch another loop to iterate through all the element properties. We get and output the property name, and having the property name, we address for the property value. Now we can build our demo project, and let's open the command line and run our demo project. We'll need to switch to the folder with all the executables, including our console application. We have an Autodesk Revit file in that very same folder. The demo sample started. You see the loading progress, and next we output all the names of all the properties of all elements that we iterate through. Okay, that's it.